Hello, Lettermen Row listeners, watchers, readers, however else you get this information. Thanks for coming back to LettermenRow.com. This is Birminology. I am Jeremy Birmingham, joined today by Ohio State 2021 linebacker target Barrett Carter from Suwanee, Georgia, North Gwinnett High School, one of the country's most offered juniors. Barrett, you have 43 scholarship offers listed on your 247 Sports profile, which I think, I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone through everyone's list, but it seems like that's a lot. Yet here you sit as the 100th ranked player in the country, right?
Yes, sir.
Does, at this point in your life, and I know you guys don't pay close attention to recruiting rankings, but do you ever start to shake your head and go, how does that add up? Because you see like some guys who ranked ahead of you that have like 10 offers and they're not from Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Clemson, Ohio State, everyone else in the country that's the cream of the crop around the nation have offered. But here you sit as the sixth ranked outside linebacker and ninth ranked player in Georgia.
Me truly, it's just a blessing to be ranked in the first place because it could really be the complete opposite. Like I could be unranked, no stars, all of that. So right now, I'm looking at it as a blessing. If my ranking were to go up, then I'd be okay with it. But I'm really not paying any attention to it. It's just a blessing to be ranked.
How did football come into being this thing for you? I mean, when did this really start? One of the things about this series of interviews with prospects is that a lot of guys are younger, so fans may not know. But you're down there in Georgia, but you're not originally from Georgia, correct? You're from Chicago?
Yes, sir.
When did you move to Georgia, and when did football start to shape out as like a possible avenue for your life?
I moved to Georgia in 2010 or 2011. It was one of those years. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but really just in like seventh and eighth grade, I was just getting like all these compliments and like just like little recognition, like little all-star game invites, like little camp invites. I was just getting that stuff. So I was like, maybe I can really just make a deal out of this football. So, and then it came to, it's true now. So yeah.
You're a 6'1", 210-pound linebacker is what you're listed at again on your 247 Sports profile. How do you see yourself developing on the field from here? Obviously, there's a year left of high school football, but what role do you see yourself playing? And as you watch defenses around the country, is there one guy where you're like, oh, that's the type of spot that I want to play?
Really, I'll just do what the team needs. But considering like my versatility and my athleticism, I feel like I can just play all over the field. Like I can cover, I can blitz, I can play in the box. So just like moving me around and just like playing that role. So I know like with Ohio State, like Baron Browning, that's what he does, and that bullet position. So I can see myself doing that, but just someone who's versatile on the defense.
Well, bringing up Ohio State, I mean, the Buckeyes have been recruiting you for a while now. It's again difficult at times for people in your class, for fans and people who follow this stuff closely to know who exactly is like a real target for the Buckeyes. You are one of them. I know that from conversations I've had with people that make the decisions. But is it harder for you being down there in Georgia to know what Ohio State's about, or does your Midwest roots help open that up because people in your family are like, hey, this is what Ohio State is and what it's always been?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like when I got the offer, just like my family members were just telling me how like it was a huge offer because like they grew up in Chicago all their lives, and just Ohio State was just one of those schools that you're always hearing about. So and like I didn't really know truly much about them until and then I visited, and I was blown away. I saw what it was all about, and it's just a prestigious school, and just having that offer is just a blessing.
That visit was for the Penn State game, correct?
No, it's for the Maryland game.
Maryland game. I'm sorry. Okay. So what did you see? I mean, obviously that game, they won that one 73-14. It wasn't a game that put a lot of stress on the defense or the coaching staff, but what was the biggest takeaway or two from that visit, and what about that trip kind of catapulted them into this upper echelon for you as you move forward?
I just felt like I'm truly wanted there, and like that's huge for a recruit to feel, like to have that feeling. Like I got there, everyone's just showing me love, giving me dap, just things like that. Just it was just huge for me. I felt very welcomed.
With the Buckeyes, I mean, is it is there still a perception down there? And I think you're an interesting person to ask about this because you're from the Midwest, but now live in the South. When you moved, it was a time frame when most people in the country believed that there was no good football being played anywhere but the SEC, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, as the last decade has unfolded, it certainly seems like people are coming around to the idea that there are some places where it's just football is football, and Ohio State is one of them. For recruits, how important is it to just get to campus and see that it's, on par with what you're seeing at Georgia, at Alabama, at Clemson?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like if you're in the South, typically like visiting schools up north or just all over the country, that's not really a thing that happens too much. So like getting to see a Big Ten school, because like those are very different from an SEC school. So just getting to see that, it was huge because just the but the difference between SEC and Big Ten, it was like just seeing a different experience was cool.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what's the biggest difference? What do you see that's different at Ohio State, or I don't know whether Big Ten schools you've been to, whether it's Michigan or Penn State, or, you're talking about the largest fan bases in the country, the largest stadiums in the country. But what's different about those places compared to Georgia or Bama?
I mean, obviously the weather.
Sure.
That's for sure. But it's just a different feel there. Sorry, it's hard to really explain, but just like SEC schools and Big Ten, I don't really know how to explain it. It's just a different feel.
Is there one that you prefer? I guess. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot. But is it a thing where you're like, okay, this is crazy, just football, and then this is like, hey, I'm actually I'm living a student life. Like, do you see the difference there, or are those things the same everywhere you go? I mean, how do you break down a decision moving forward when you have 45 opportunities from the 45 of the best schools and football programs in the country? How do you separate it?
You separate to where you just get that home feeling, and you feel it in your just in your heart, like, all right, this is the place for me, and like that's just gonna be it. So that's how I'm gonna feel. I know that just where I feel at home, where I'm feeling welcome, where I feel needed, just that's what's gonna be the deal for me.
Columbus, Ohio is home for Al Washington. He's from Columbus, despite coaching at Boston College and Michigan and a few other places. But he's born and raised in Columbus, and now back as the Buckeyes linebackers coach and the lead recruiter for you. How is that relationship with Coach Washington? What do you like about him? Where are you guys gelling right now? What makes that relationship special?
So they offered me in April, and just when I talked to Coach Washington before they even offered me, I can tell like he's just a down to earth guy, and like he means everything he says, and he's so passionate about football. Like that's the type of coach I want to be coached by. Someone just who loves the game, and like I can tell like if I were to go there, he wants me to be great. But if I were to go to a different school, he wouldn't just cut that off. He would still want my best interest at heart, and that's just what I love about Coach Washington.
Have you had an opportunity at this point to get to know Ryan Day? I mean, is this relationship with Ohio State focused solely on Al Washington? And if it is, how much of a lesson has there been learned by guys like you in the last month as you watch assistant coaches from one spot leave to go to another just almost on a whim?
Speaking of Ryan Day, yeah, we have a great relationship just like we do with Coach Washington. Like, I'll call Coach Washington, and he'll always put Coach Day on the phone, or Coach Day will text me like when it's game day for them or when it's game day for me, always like wishing me good luck. But just like that.
Ohio State and Clemson are two of the schools that are in your mix here. When you watch that Fiesta Bowl, how difficult is it to watch that as a recruiter? Or are you just dialed in on what the linebackers are doing and aren't paying attention to anything else?
It definitely is tough to watch as a recruit, knowing like I like both of those schools, but I got to root for both of them. I can't favor another until I'm committed. But it was just great watching them. So yeah, it was just a great game to watch.
Again, perception's sake. I mean, there's this idea that still is sort of out there, I guess, but like I said, it is waning a little bit. But that Ohio State, the Big Ten, is slow, that it's not able to keep up. But When you watch that game, is that what you see, or is it is it sort of a realization that, hey, these guys are actually like top tier?
Oh yeah, Ohio State, they're a top tier team for sure. Just like what Coach Halfley and Coach Madison have done with the defense, they are one of the most physical teams that I've ever seen. Just all parts of their team, they're just a complete team. And it doesn't really matter what the division is, SEC, Big Ten. If they can ball, they can ball. And that's just how it is, and that's how Ohio State is.
Right now, it's what, January the 6th or something. You have a year or so until you would have to be signed if you decide to sign in December, or if you're planning on early enrolling, you'd be enrolling basically at your school of your choice a year from today. How close are you to a decision? What do you have to do to get there? And as you start, putting a plan together, what do you see yourself still needing to accomplish before you can say, hey, I know this is where I want to be?
To be honest, as of this point right now, I'm not anywhere close to a decision. I'm planning to do it before my senior season. That's the plan as of right now, but that can change anytime. Yeah. I mean, if I'm ready tomorrow, then I'm ready, but I doubt that's going to happen. But I just want to get all my visits taken care of, all my officials, and then I want to decide after that. And I'm hoping that's before my senior season, so I can just go into the season stress-free. But if that's not the case, then that's not the case. But that's what I plan on doing now.
So the plan would be then to take all 5 officials in the spring or summer?
Yes, sir.
Do you have schools that are getting one of those 5? And are there still other visits that you're like, okay, I need to figure out, like visit number 4, visit number 5? How do you work that out from here?
I can tell. Well, I can say a few schools off my head that I know are going to get unofficials, but I'm not sure about the officials right now. I'm just not sure about that.
You've been to Columbus once to visit Ohio State. Is there a plan to get back? I know that with junior days and that kind of stuff coming up, it is a little bit harder to get to the Midwest for junior days in January and February because of potential weather. But is that in the works? So what is your goal for the continuing to build a relationship with the Buckeyes?
I'll be back up there 100%. I'm not sure if it's going to be during the spring or during the summer, but I will be back up there 100%. I know that.
Your teammate, Jordan Hancock, is another one of Ohio State's top targets. He's a defensive back, a player that Jeff Halfley was very high on. Obviously, now Jeff Halfley's not at Ohio State anymore. How's Jordan handling? I don't want to ask you too much to speak for him, but how's he handled that change? And do you guys talk regularly about the possibility of suiting up together at the next level as his offer list in the last 2 months has grown to, rival yours a little bit?
I mean, I know Jordan, he wasn't like devastated, but I know it kind of hit him pretty hard because I know he had been building a relationship with Coach Halfley. So I know that probably hit him a little bit. But the topic of us balling in college, there's a high chance that will happen. I mean, I would love to go to the same school as him because, like, if he's at corner, I know I can trust him, and I know if we're on the same field, the offense is going to be shut down. I know that for a fact.
Barrett, do you consider yourself a Midwest guy or a Southern boy?
I would have to say both. I would just say half me is just Midwest, half me is Southern.
What's your favorite movie? What do you do when you unwind, when you're sitting at home and you have an opportunity to relax and be a normal teenager? What do you do?
To be honest, I really love scary movies. Like that's my thing. I like scary movies. Love going to Six Flags with my girlfriend. I love just going like LA Fitness with my boys, play basketball, just stuff like that. It's like I do that a lot.
What's the best scary movie you've ever seen? Because there's so many different types, right? Yeah. There's so many different genres of scary movies. What's actually scary to you?
As I've grown over the years, I've realized that like these ghosts and all that supernatural stuff it's fake. But I'll say a few years ago, Insidious 2 would be like that. That movie used to scare me a lot.
Have you ever seen the original Shining or the original The Exorcist back in the day?
I think I've seen like one part of it. Like if I can remember, but I don't think I've seen The Shining or whatever.
See, those movies are different types of terrifying because it's all about like psychological insanity,
Yeah.
which is scary to me because, you know, the world's a crazy place.
Yeah.
What are you looking to do as far as enrolling? Are you planning on enrolling early? Do you want to make sure you're at an all-star game? I mean, there's some guys who are now skipping the all-star games because they want to get to campus even earlier. Like, do you have a plan, or is it still in the works, or with far as graduation?
If I had to decide right now, I would say no. I'm not going to enroll early just because I want to spend as much time with my family and my friends as I can. And so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm planning on playing in the All American Bowl because I'm committed to that. But as enrolling early, no, I'm just staying as long as I can here.
Final thing, and I'll let you get out of here, is how is the relationship, or is there any relationship right now with you and the Ohio State 2021 recruiting class and the guys that are already committed? Are there guys that are reaching out to you? How is that relationship building with your peers going?
As of right now, I haven't talked to any of them about that yet. But like all the coach, like Coach Washington, he wants me to meet Reed. I don't know how to pronounce his last name,
Carrico,
but he wants me to get in touch with him. So I'll definitely be doing that.
Is that important for you guys like you? I mean, is it important to know who you could be playing with, or is it one of those things where you don't really even want to start building those relationships until you've committed somewhere, because otherwise it just gets harder to say no?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely important because like you can get their input on what they feel about that school. So just getting in contact with the kids that are already committed there, that's important.
Awesome. Well, hey man, Barrett, I really appreciate you taking time today to sit down with myself on LettermenRow.com. For YouTube watchers, please comment, rate, like, hit the bell. I don't know. There's all these things that you're supposed to do, and I don't really understand any of it. But if you're checking us out on podcasts or iTunes or any of those things, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. That is Barrett Carter, linebacker from Sewanee, Georgia, North Gwinnett High School. I'm Jeremy Birmingham for Lettermen Row, and this has been Birminology. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got Buckeye IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.